Hi folks, Puffin here. I know you get worried when you see I have a little list because it means I've been taking notes on my Google News feed, but not too much today to talk about. And I know you get excited when you see my Cara Dune hat, my obviously Star Wars cop hat that shows that I'm going to be trying out for the part of the new Cara Dune since they got rid of the old Cara Dune. And I'll get to that part. And I only do that when she makes the news or when that character makes the news, which happened, but not as much as has been frequently so. Soak in the hat because you might not be seeing it as much in the future. First top news story that I got on Google was another Indiana Jones star is ready for the fifth movie. I mean, that's important news, but it's not like I'm tuning into entertainment news. It's just like this is the news, and they've decided that's more important than the things you'll see afterwards. The Grateful Dead's angry response to the Warner Brothers letter is maintained the second or first spot in my Google News. A letter from that Warner Brothers wrote in 1967 that the Grateful Dead responded to, and I love the Grateful Dead. I'm glad they're getting publicity. I'm glad I've clicked on enough things that they're always recommending to me something from the Grateful Dead. But it's like there's a lot going on right now, and their angry response, maybe it's magically like reflective of what's going on now, and there's some like secrets in there, and I really should read the letter. Probably is, because they're anti-establishment, and the establishment is bearing down even harder now than it was in 67. Article 3, COVID bandit leaves a $6,800 tip at a Denver restaurant. So apparently this is somebody who's been leaving big tips, and I'm totally for this. Like, I've joked that tipping is the socialism we can have since they won't let us have the one we want to vote for. They won't let us vote for the one we really want, so we can, tip and try to make things as socialist as we can by spreading wealth around. So that's cool that the COVID bandit, whoever that is leaving huge tips places to support people for working. It's also like reminds you, hey, why are people having to do this? Why are we having to crowdsource keeping businesses open instead of just having a government that can give every business money, not just the very richest businesses like the airplane industry or whatever money. So anyway, the fourth story is still about some lady in California who got a driver's license with her mask on in the picture. I mean, that's interesting or whatever, but how is it more important? How are any of these more important? As much as I love the Grateful Dead and people tipping, how are any of these more important than what we're going to get to in a little bit? Madman Munch. Oh yeah, the fifth story. Ed Munch on the Scream painting wrote "painted by a madman" underneath it, and they found that in X-ray. Like looking through layers of the painting. It's very interesting. It's interesting that they can do this, so we can see what famous artists painted over, things like that. We can see what paintings was on a canvas before they changed it to something else. Like, it's all interesting, but again, it's stuff from a long time ago that they're promoting like it's more important than the current news. 6, George Lucas is going to write for Star Wars. Great. Hey, hire me. Make me the new Cara Dune. Or whoever. Make me somebody in Star Wars. I love Star Wars. It's great. And again, I love Star Wars. I love the Grateful Dead. But these news stories have been news stories on my feed for days, for a week at least. And then you get to 7. If you scroll down far enough, if none of those were enticing enough to you, and they're all enticing, they're great stories. But you get down to 7. FBI alerted about a war at the Capitol. The FBI's alert about a war at the Capitol from the Trumpers reached the DC and Capitol Police on the eve of the attack, apparently at 7 p.m., January 5th, 2021. The FBI's warning about a war on the Capitol reached it. Now, the problem is, in just social media land, just paying attention to your average lowest level trolls out there, you can tell that these people were planning this attack. Like, I thought it was going to be bigger from the way people were talking about it online. And like, I'm just talking shit to these people. Like, I'm being so rude to these people whenever I encounter them that I should have some of the least exposure to them. Of course, Facebook just throws them all on my page. Anyway, Facebook is like 90% fake accounts, Russian trolls, whatever. It's just fascist as can be. It's terrible. 8, the 8th story. Well, just the fact that they got their report a day ahead, they still didn't prepare for it, and that everybody else knew weeks ahead. It's just, there's a lot more guilt involved. There's a lot more conspiracy, and the fact that they've been invaded by the KKK, and the KKK were the ones invading the Capitol, and so the ones who invaded the police forces, were helping them out. We need to root all that out. Now, a news story that you're not hearing is about the grand jury deciding not to prosecute the 9 cops who killed the guy in Rochester, New York. Like, it's time for justice to be done. The justice system isn't doing it. And Letitia James, the DA in New York, who was furthering the case to dismantle the NRA, is claiming that while she doesn't personally think justice has been done here, that's it. No, that's not it. You can dismantle the KKK in the police forces. You can dismantle ICE entirely because it's pretty much 100% KKK. We saw from their Facebook group, their KKK Facebook group with 9,000 ICE members in it, which there's only 9,000 members of ICE, or like 12,000 members because they were ex-employees too. Like ICE is 100% KKK. Our police forces are like 90% KKK. No lie. Like, time to root them all out. Okay, when you have a police force like Rochester where the whole thing is KKK, you replace the whole damn thing. Like, everybody needs jobs right now. That's what you're not getting. We're going to get to the story where they don't need jobs right now because we need a place to work first. But there's a lot of people looking for work. So they'll take those police officer jobs and do them a lot better. Just like I'll do a much better job at Cara Dune. Check the hat. Oh, wait, acting. Are you really sure that'll work? I got a bad feeling about this. See, I can do it. Anyway, the 8th story is the 5 ERCOT members resigned from the Texas Commission Board. And the legislature was saying, these guys need to resign. This body that has no regulatory ability, has no punitive ability to enforce regulations that we set up. The legislators, Democrat and Republican, set this board up. Then they're saying they all need to resign, and they did resign, or 5 of them resigned. But it's like, no, your legislators need to resign. You're the ones responsible. This isn't about passing responsibility off on someone else. We have a similar story about that before I run out of time. The 15th story was the GameStop CFO resigned over people gaming or whatever, the big stock guys losing money to the little guys in the stock market. And they're having hearings about that. I saw a hearing about that with Maxine Waters, I think, on YouTube. It's like with one of the guys who's trading it. It's like, you aren't bad people just for taking advantage of a system that the corporations have taken advantage of. You're going to see more of this, and we're going to turn this whole thing upside down and on its head, and you better get on the right side of history, politicians. Whoever thinks you have power, your power is going to be in question or retracted. Massachusetts, Mazzietta Fraser, Janet Jackson teared up over their connection. 9th story. 10th story, 2 teens discovered a valuable exoplanet. That's really cool. Thanks, teens. That's awesome that you guys are making scientific discoveries while they're not funding the science. So that was the top 10 stories. 2 of them were like newsy, the FBI alert about the Capitol War and the ERCOT members resigning. And then you get to that 15th story about the GameStop guy resigning. But why do these people resign? Why are they like scapegoated when your system is bad and corrupt and it's just pointing to it? It's like you're just trying to cover your tracks. And they're trying to do that in the Senate hearing. They wouldn't even show you that the Senate hearing was on in any news outlets about the Senate hearing about the Capitol riot. So all this stuff is like a big scam. The 13th story here was that 40% of our Colorado teachers are quitting. So you're rushing to get back to school, but there's nobody going to teach there because you've messed it up. You didn't take care of people. You acted like industry was the only thing that was important and people weren't. And you're still following the Trump drum on that. And it's just Nazi and wrong and genocide. Cut all those ideas out. I'm going to make a whole nother video about how we need to fix all the roads, convert everything to solar before anybody goes back to school or any other non-essential job. It could take years, but we're going to do that first because that makes sense because it's a smart thing to do. And we're just refuse to go back to work until you start installing solar panels every step of the way. Do you hear me? Do you see how this is going down? We're in control now. And I shouldn't be mad about it. I should be real happy about it, but to let everybody know. It's frustrating that y'all are still acting like you're in control. You're not, or you're not going to be. And I'll lay it out for you how this is going to work out. 30% of teachers are quitting in Colorado, probably all over the country. You don't have teachers anymore. You're going to have to go online to make the one teacher be able to teach 300 students or to make the one program work for everybody. And then maybe actually make the education good too while you're universalizing it instead of a bunch of crap and indoctrination and omission. 14th is an investigation into the plane that crashed. The 15th was the GameStop. Oh, and so we got to the 21st story. The reason I get to wear this hat is because Hasbro released a statement about what they're going to do about the Cara Dune action figures. I didn't read the statement. I like action figures. I mean, it's not the action figures' fault. It's not the character's fault. So I say let them sell them. Instead of like, if you stop selling them, then they become so collectible and like, then they're worth $1,000. And it just prolongs it. Like, just keep selling them. Like, the action figure's not going to say racist things if you push a button, like, not going to say fascist things or do a Hitler salute when you flip the switch or something. It's like, like the action figure's fine. But anyway, that's my opinion on that. That's why I'm wearing the hat. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day. And it's not shutting off, but bless yourself, and goddess bless everyone. And thanks, Star Wars, for considering me and for any role. I don't really want to be a cop, but I'll do it.